Hello chums, I'm Colonel Failure and this is a Train 4 version 9. I'm running at high speed at the moment. Hold on, higher speed, there we go. Yes, I'm running at very high speed at the moment, largely to hope that this port will start running again. Those of you who tune in regularly will know that there was a passenger port next door. I've since removed it, largely because the two ships kept colliding with one another, which stopped them operating. Now, when the container ship turns up, this is actually quite a profitable port, but until it does so, it ain't no good to me. So I've deleted that for the time being, and I'm running at high speed while that takes place. Anyway, last time we were here, we built a brand new area of this map. If I orient myself correctly, we'll go up to this this terminal up here, which is going to lead to many exotic and interesting places. But at the moment, it's, there's no growth going on because it's got no goods, and it's going to stay that way until I start actually building the area out a little. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different first, and that is I'm going to show you another means of making a bit of money in a, I would say, illicit fashion, but I think that's maybe a little ungenerous. It's completely legitimate. This is, this is not typing in a cheat code or anything along those lines. It's just, it's not a particularly interesting way of doing it. Anyway, to find a way of getting this done, where am I going to go? I think we'll go over here. Right. I'm going to build it out over here, largely because we'll be able to make use of the leftover resources that will come from this. Now, there you go. This area will do nicely. First thing I'm going to need to do is just smooth it down a touch, because we're going to need quite a lot of space. So it's actually worth overspending in order to create myself lots of space for this. Because I need a map edge in order for this to work. Some of you may have experienced this before, and certainly early game it's highly recommended you use a system not entirely dissimilar in order to get your goods coming in the first place. But at this point we're not talking about imports, we are talking about exports. So what we need here is we need a station. What should we have here? I just need I need any kind of a, that'll do. Classification yard will be fine. Equally, doesn't have to be particularly big. Why are you having trouble over here? Have we got some leftover lumpy section there? Let's have a quick look. Right, beg your pardon. Yes, evidently a small lump exists. Well, let's, if we're going to do this, let's get it right first time. There you go. Come on, smooth everything. Much smoothage is required. Yes, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to build ourselves an entire factory district here, and we're going to export as many of those goods as humanly possible. It's not riveting, I apologise, but the effect is quite profound. So I think it's going to be worth your while sticking around for it. Right, now, in order to get plenty of space for my factory build out, we'll stick this chap here. Right, and then let's rail to the edge of the world and then beyond. I still haven't quite smoothed everything out, but this should be satisfactory. There we go. Go as far as there, and then take the rest. Take it the rest of the. What have I done wrong here? Cancel. Let's grid up. There we go, and out you go. You want out into beyonder. The yonder of the wild blue fashion, or the gridded blue fashion in this case. I need an external connection. Why are you giving me the runaround here, game? Come on. There we are. That's the fella. Right, good. Okay, so now all I need to do is stick a cargo train on that. But we're not quite ready yet. First things first, we need to get ourselves a couple of factories up. And there's no sense in messing around with this. You're going to want large factories. Now, Normally you'd space these out all over the place, but I want to try and get as many inside the radius here as possible, because that's the way to turn this money printer on. In fact, I'm not even running it as efficiently as I possibly could do. And a little more. We're going to need about a dozen in total. And yes, a dozen. I kid you not. This is not a cheap experience. But the good news is you can do it just about anywhere you like on your map. Because, well, as you can see, factories, they don't need resources. Yeah, you see, look, yeah, that's a Tetris cock up right there. Not quite enough space. It's also pretty ugly, so you're not going to want it running near your specially beautified areas of your city. This is basically something that, if I get it right, should prevent me from having to dip into the stock market quite as often as I do currently, which is a minimum of once a year. I have to generate at least $1 billion in cash in order to continue my my expansion. Right, now let's see if that's enough. So there we go. I mean that's a hefty amount of stations going on now. Stations, factories, and then have I got a cargo train that's just freight train? So that's freight train. There we go. Right, I need a freight train, please. Freight, yes, you, and any of these will do. How quick are you? 40 kilometers now. 80, 60. You'll do. Hold on, who's cheap? You seem to be relatively cheap, although you come with twice as many chaps attached. No, let's go here. It's not the longest station that I've built there, so let's just up that to 6. Right, and then we place it on here. Confirms. No, I didn't want to. I only need 1. Right, you. Go, leave. Let's kill that off. Right, you there. What? Okay, I must buy 1. Thank you. Get away. You here. Place. Yes, about there. Right, I'm going to slow it down for this because I need the timetable assistant in order to make this thing work. Oh, in fact, we'll just let it run. No, you see, that's not right. There we go. Right, now wait for your inevitable return. Once more, with feeling. There you go. Right, that'll do. Timetable assistant, please. No, I don't need a save point. Right, you are going to stop. You're going to reverse. You are going to load only. Continuous. There you go. Right, now, off you run. Right, no, I'm done with you. Okay, so this chap will now, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, start exporting. And as you can see here, and this is just one day that we're running through, the amount of money generated is significant. Now the costs are pretty high. Obviously the running costs of the thing, you know, are pretty extensive, but it's coming in at just short of $1 million a day. So this train on its own, with the right number of factories attached, will make me 360 million quid over the course of the year. And that's before you factor in these factories as well. When I get the pacing right. So as you can see here, look, profit, this is already up to 50-odd thousand, 60-odd thousand. It's been running for like a couple of days. So in terms of the profitability of these factories, that is also worth consideration. This is just one train. Now imagine, you know, running 3 such setups. You can effectively bring in $1 billion a year, all of which, of course, you have to pay for, ho-hum. But there you go. It's just rolling, and basically all it's doing, if I slow it back down again to a realistic speed, turns up, picks up goods, legs it off the map, sells them to I don't really care, and then it comes back again and rinse and repeat. There we go. Now, I need to run at high speed for now because I need to figure out how many more factories I'm going to require in order to run 7 days a week. See, we've already stripped that stone dead. There we go. So now it's just costing me money, making nothing. Come on, come on. And obviously if it's empty when it hits the exterior of the map, it will come back with a full load, which doesn't do me any favours at all. Right, there we go. Now we're keeping pace. Stops manufacturing for the day, so let's slow it down. Have we made enough for it to run overnight? Nope, not quite. Not quite enough to run overnight. And then, of course, there's the 2 days at the weekends where factories also don't operate. So let's get them up and running. Now, I'm sure those more dedicated than I would be able to put some kind of calculator together to go like, oh, you need exactly 17 factories in order for this to happen. Regrettably, I'm not going to put that level of effort in. I will use the trial and error system to get this working. You can be more precise if you like. In fact, if you stick with me on this, this is today's project. You stick with me, I'll tell you exactly how many you need for a station and route this size. That should be more than enough. Right, let's tempo up here, because of course what I'm trying to do is have enough goods left over by the weekend that we can continue to run without running dry. Let's bring the trains list back up again. It's just making cash. All the cash is what it's making, and you know it. This is not the way that I would prefer to play the game. I would prefer that the game economy itself was a little more forgiving, but it's taxation that really kicks your face in. If you want to continue expanding, then regrettably you do need to play with the economic systems in a slightly adverse fashion. Right, here we go. We're into a full week now. So this will be a proper test to see how we get on. Now, overnight we had leftovers, which is good. Now, as long as I'm stripping away from these in a reasonably equal manner, which doesn't look like I'm doing. Obviously, it's taking from the closest factories first. There's not a lot I can do about that. But if if I were taking them from an even distribution, none of the factories should fill up. Everyone should continue to produce. Where are we up to? Thursday. Okay, so Friday night at clocking off time, nobody manufactures anything until Monday morning again. Go coming up on a bit of clocking off. Right, that's it. We're into the weekend. So now nothing new will be produced until Monday. Have I got enough in stock to take me through till then? It's going to be close, I'll tell you that for nothing. Right, where are we? Saturday into Sunday morning. It's going to be close. Slow it right down. Where are we? 8 PM on a Sunday night. Oh, you know what? I think I've got this right. There we go. Midnight Sunday. We're into Monday morning. So, how many trips are we making with none? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Okay, we're not quite there. 5. One more. 6. And... Alright, okay, 7. 8. Right, and now we've started producing. Okay, so it's coming 8 times. Then I think over the course of the week, maybe 1 more factory? No, it's going to have to be 2. 2 more factories. Obviously, you know, as we pick up the goods off these guys, they're going to generate some cash as well. So if we go now to look at reporting, obviously this is blowing my railroad excuse me, my railroad profits completely out of proportion. Likewise, factory, at the moment the profits are obviously down because I've bought so many of the damn things. But gradually that will, or rather, I'm not even convinced it's going to be that gradual. I think relatively quickly this is going to bounce into the positive. The good news is that while I'm running a deficit this year, and in fact I've only got 600 million left, only, he said, I shouldn't get stung too much for income tax. But here's the one that really kills you. If we switch over to my balance sheet, is it's property tax, and I'm being done for at least $500 million in property tax every year. Now, the upside to that is that I'm making more than that, well, I should hope so, in subsidiary profits. And this year's tax for subsidiaries is going to be large. Anyway, I'm going to leave that running. We'll come back to it in a couple of minutes and see how it's getting on. Meanwhile, oh, we're facing all over the place now, aren't we? And the map is also tinkering with its facings. I want to go right over here. Okay, what I want to do also is build out my my big route here, and feed that into the terminal at the end. And what I'll also do, no, the terminal at the end is over here because you're not facing in the right direction. There we go. There's the terminal at the end. I'll also set up a truck route to go and just cherry pick a few goods here and there from the selection over here, just to get the growth of this area fueled. Now, I might, in fact, I'm going to do that first. There you go. That's just me being changeable, unable to decide which order I'm doing things in. So let's just go with a relatively humble loading bay. And this probably won't be the last one I place either, because I want this to build out pretty significantly in every direction in order to make this station everything it can be. Right, there we go. You can go there, and then give me some road here. Nothing sophisticated in this plan. As far as that, sure thing. And then give me another station, which we will stick on the end. Come on. No? Station. It's a depot, you fool. It's not a station. Just because it's under the station's tab, it's just a touch confusing. Right, let's get that in there. And then we'll go to trains, where about we will find a truck, of which I've got one or two just kicking around, which is excellent. Place this fella down here. Oh, I'm going to need a depot at the other end. Alright, pause. I mean, because it's a straight line, I don't even need to give this any, you know, special instructions. Let's go with a large. And actually, I'm going to put it right next to the end so that this fills out over here as much as possible. I'll probably do something something with this coastline as well, maybe square it off. I haven't yet decided. Now, I'm going to let the AI deal with this. I'm going to interfere with this as little as possible. I might need to place down, you know, a couple of apartment blocks or maybe some offices, something like that, just to kind of G things along. But to be honest, with the rail traffic coming in, and the ready abundance of goods sitting here, that should be sufficient for this area of town to develop. One would hope. Yes. Right. I need to invest in the stock market again, obviously, because I can't go geoscaping unless I've got a nice big bankroll to keep me supported on that front. I mean, I could run more trucks here as well, but I'm going to keep it moving at a relatively relatively slow pace in terms of topping up. Let's have a look and see how this train is now getting on. And as you can see, running the thing all day, it just makes you, you know, ridiculous amounts of money. But it's also incredibly expensive. I mean, if we look at our most profitable routes that exist elsewhere, what are we looking? Double-digit thousands per day? That's not enough to get you particularly excited, is it? Admittedly, if I ran it 24 hours a day, I would make more, but only once the town was built up to such a level that it really is a kind of a 24-hour-a-day city. So there we go. You know, modesty all round, but also profitability all round. There is not one line I run that is not profitable, and that's a very good thing. But the big reason to do this, the obvious big reason to do this, and I've already mentioned it once, but I'm going to mention it again, is all of these factories are also profitable. What have we done? You've done 30,000 profit this year. Well, you're not exactly demonstrating my case there, bucko. That's more like it. 100,000, 120,000, 120,000, 200,000. Now you're talking. 200k. Very nice. So yeah, obviously the later ones haven't been operating for quite as long, so they're not making quite as much. But the principle remains the same. You know, everything about this is just pure, unadulterated profit. Now, I will have to pay tax on the factories. That's a bit of a drag. But all being well, the net income should far outstrip any potential downside. There, see, look, no one's interested. I did say I was going to have to do something exciting to get this underway. Equally, while I think about it, I also lay some track here. Far cheaper to do it this way than to try and buy out the AI. That'll be one whole investment period sunk if I have to eminent domain these guys. There we go. That'll do. I don't even need to do that extra one we've got there because you can't build anything in the middle anyway. Right. Let's get some. Let's get some buildings up. Right, what should we have here? We'll start off with a nicely looking headquarters. We might as well. I mean, given that this is the the edge of the world, I ain't got the materials for that. All right, well we'll have a cheap one then. There we go. That's a start. And then we'll also chuck up a couple of apartment buildings. 250. I can't quite afford. Now, admittedly, people may not exactly be thrilled about living right next door to a train terminal, but hey, you know, beggars can't be choosers, which is an entirely useless phrase to say at this point. But there you go. I'm pretty certain that this will yield some profits over time. Let's just sling in a little bit. What happens if I drag you out of town? I've tried doing that before. Are you, as road, going to deliver anything exciting if I give you an out-of-town route? Anyway, the principle here is well, it's pretty kind of self-evident, really. Is I'll continue to run this this first depot until this whole area is built up to a fair degree. I'm not going to hook it up for the moment. And then once that's done, I will repeat the process somewhere else. So we'll gradually move this drop-off section and the associated goods storage facility until we're growing all the way around. At which point we should start to see these monstrous intercity lines actually generate some profit. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if I was packing an occasional passenger. We have to wait for them to turn up, obviously. Slow things down a little bit so we can at least see it come in. There we go. Right, we got one in. Right, wait, come back. No, you were far too rapido. Doesn't look to me like he's actually carrying any passengers. Right, okay, right, there we go. Right, you You're 13. Can I tempt you into making me any money at all? Nope. Still profitable, and that's probably down to the number of passengers on board and the distance being travelled. And to be honest, 500 odd passengers really isn't an exciting amount in terms of profit, but it will get the job done. Now, obviously, if this truck's exploits can't help to fuel further expansion over here, then I'm going to have to build this area up myself, which is a bit of a drag. I was hoping for something good from the AI on this front. Likewise, simply for aesthetic purposes, I do need to get a bridge rolling over all however many tracks I've got there. What will this be? What's that? 7 tracks in total. And I'm going to need to expand that out as well in order for it to just make sense on a visual basis. Let's just check the factories once more. Yeah, I was a little concerned this would be the case. Now, obviously, now I'm overproducing. I'm going to be hard pressed. Or am I? Where are we? Lunchtime on a Sunday. I turned up here at the right time. Can you go the entire night? Yes, you can. 1, 2, 3. Like 3, maybe 4 extra journeys on top of that in order to make it work. So there you go. That's the I don't know, the factory hack, the factory jam, call it whatever you like. But it's a tried and tested easy money maker. So there you go. That'll wrap it up for this time. Not the most exciting of episodes ever in terms of general growth, but in terms of actually, offering an alternative to messing with the stock market too often. I'm a big fan of this, so I recommend it to you. Let me know if you've got any feedback on this system, and stick a comment in below, and we can talk through this a little further. Anyway, next time around, what I'm going to work... Hold on. Why am I just... If I was facing in the correct direction, I would never be going wrong. There we go. See? Immediately goes the right way. Any sign of any ships over here? Any at all? It's kind of critical. Need the container ship to turn up. Not least of all, so I'm not sinking 3 million quid every 6 months. But also because your cargo deliveries are going to fuel further expansion up here. So yeah, next time around I want to get the passenger port running again, and I will run this line up to the terminus at the top, that we've just been playing with, in order to get that rolling in the right way. So thank you very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Chuck us a like if you'd be so kind. Subscribe if that takes your fancy. And I will catch up with you. I've got to do a quick hero train shot to finish things up, or maybe a quick hero station shot. There we go. That's pretty nice. There, good. That looks all right to me. Maybe a little bit of angle on there. Wait for the chap to go, and then I'll say thank you very much for watching. I will catch up with you very soon, and next time around we'll be playing with trains some more. Cheerio.